Alright, what's up guys? So this is episode 3 of the uh, Paranormal Adventures. This is the final part, unfortunately, of the first house that I ever lived in. And I think this episode's going to be very good because it's sad because, you know, it's the conclusion of that first house and all the great paranormal experiences, all the investigations, all that type of stuff. And yeah, so if you didn't listen to the first two parts, first part basically I just discussed moving into the house, when the house was built, demolished, all that stuff. How many years we lived in there, basically the first experiences. And then the second part, I talked about basically all the investigations that I first started with, and then most of my paranormal experiences, most of other people's experiences, and all that type of stuff. But let's just get into the final part. So in this part, I'm just going to basically discuss those final investigations, those final, experiences, and I'm gonna try to remember the last experience I had in the house, and then the moving process when we moved. And it's a great story. I mean, I will talk about it in the first part of the house, of the second house, because moving in to the house is probably the best weather story I can ever think of. So it was around 2009, late 2009, early 2010, and I think I knew that something was going on. I wasn't told anything just yet. That wasn't until about May or June of 2010 when we finally found out that, hey, we're gonna have to move. And then November, we had everything packed. We thought that we were gonna go. And then it wasn't until we weren't allowed to move until basically the owner got money to sell the place. So it could be demolished. You could get money, the equivalent of basically selling the house. So, and then February is when we moved, of 2011. But so it was around 2009. I was like, let's do another investigation. So we did that, and one night, I was sitting in the back porch, which, I mean, you could call it a back porch. It was huge, but I was in the back porch. We were investigating. I was like, make a sound, make a noise, and it does. But as soon as it does, and this is one of the very rare times that, I or someone investigating with me saw something, and that was a shadow. At the very end of the back porch, you go down the stairs, and then you go out that door, there was a shadow. At first I thought it was somebody, but obviously wasn't, because as soon as we got closer, the thing disappeared. And that was super weird. And then there's another investigation. This is probably about, I want to say, 3 months before we knew that we had to start to think about moving, which is sad. I mean, it really got sad around the summer of 2009. Summer of 2009, fall of 2009 was when just that whole neighborhood changed and went from being the best thing ever to nobody being there. Because there was a bunch of kids. There was, like, every single house had kids that were around our age or a little bit older. And from probably, I want to say, 05 to 09, summer of 09 or spring of 09, it was perfect. I mean, it was like Stand By Me, basically. Just that whole neighborhood had just, everybody was outside every day. Everybody was on their bikes and all that stuff. And I'm gonna try and make sure that my kids do that. When I have kids, I'm gonna make sure that they go outside, get into a neighborhood that, you know, can, so that I can recreate that, hopefully. But then the summer of 09 hit. One person left, and then by the fall of 09, everybody was gone. And saddest thing was one day, because we had this field so that we could play like baseball, football, just all these different kinds of games. And I remember I went outside, you know, because if you turn to the left, I mean, as soon as you open the door to the front door, there would be a house, but it's not there anymore. It was torn down. And I remember going on the sidewalk, turning right, and then going by the field, just sitting there, just staring, and then just for a second, like, all these memories flashed of, like, all the games and stuff. And it was sad. But so this investigation, this is possibly the best investigation that I had that I didn't catch any evidence on the voice recorder or thermal or anything. It was just, we saw all this stuff. So we see the bathroom door slam shut twice. There was no windows open and all that stuff. And then we saw, I'm trying to think. Oh, when we were upstairs, the back porch door also slammed shut. Not twice, but just once. And that was creepy. And then we also, this is after we were done investigating, we were just wrapping up, put the phone away and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden we hear this voice. And it was the only time that I can think of that I heard a voice that I could hear it. I could hear it without, you know, putting it in the recorder, catching it on the recorder. I could actually hear it, you know, clearly on the outside. And once again, it was a hey, hey. And this is the only time that I ever heard it, and that was creepy. But so now I want to discuss the last investigation. So this was I want to say May or June. It's around a month after we were told that, hey, probably next half a year we'll be gone. We'll be out of here. So when I heard that, obviously that was sad. You know, I've been living in this house for over a decade now. Now to just be gone because a company that hasn't even done anything to that neighborhood just wanted to do that. Because if that company didn't go there, we would have still been there easily. But so I decided that I wanted to go out on a bang. So I decided that I wanted to make one night where I would do one final investigation. One last time forever in this house. Because after that, obviously, it was focusing on you know, moving, packing things up and all that stuff, so we just didn't really have the time after that to investigate. So I made sure that this would be the last investigation. So I bought like 2 extra like pay phones that had like recorders on them. I made sure that got a bunch of flashlights, all this stuff, get ready. So it was around 9 o'clock when we started investigating. I think we did this till like 2. And that night was awesome. In terms of catching stuff, it was probably the most we've ever caught on voice recorder. I think we caught 12 to 15 different types of voices. I think 4 different times we caught a hey hey. There's one time where we got come here, another time where we got leave this room, and then there was some other ones. Caught a bunch of footsteps, and there was this one where we were by the front porch, and for the second time, sorry that I'm yawning and stretching a lot. I woke up by 6 in the morning just so I don't sweat so much today, because in about 3 hours I'm going to be sweating like crazy, so I want to make sure that I wake up early so I can lay down. I don't have to go through all that. But so we were by the front porch and the door starts jingling, and that happened before one time, but we can see it. And I think we could see it the other time, but it was very dark. We could only see a little bit. But this time, we could see, and this is absolutely like insane, that I had basically me in the front porch, and then the other person in the front door, like in the bar room. And we opened the door a little bit so that we could both see each other. But we were far away enough that we couldn't touch the door. We could not do that. So it's jiggling on both sides, and I was like, okay, I want to stop here because I want to end it on a high note. So listen to everything. It was great. So fast forward. So now I want to get into the moving process. So fast forward about 4 months later. It's now November. Everything's packed, and then we're told, no, we can't move yet. So 2 months passed by. Now it's January. No, can't move yet. And then the last week in January, they're like, yep, okay, you can move. And we already had a house picked out. I mean, we had a house picked out for probably a month or two. We made sure that, you know, that it was still open. We made sure about that. And so then we moved, and that's basically the end of that fantastic house. So next week I will discuss the first part of the house and why it's probably the best moving story ever for me. It's absolutely great. So yeah, so make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.